See, I've skimmed through this article and I know what it's talking about already. And you guys do if you saw the thumbnail. Hello everyone, I am Mecha Random 42, your favorite YouTube harpy. And this little article does confirm a lot of what we already knew, that a lot of Star Trek Discovery and a lot of this Picard stuff, well, this is just all going to be glorified fan fiction. This comes to us from Sci-Fi Wire. Michael Chabon explains his new Star Trek shorts connection to the Next Generation and Picard. Great title here. Great title here. So we got Rebecca Romaine here as number 1. We got 25% different Spock, aka learning disabled Spock, aka that's what they're doing to Spock. That's really what they're, and you wouldn't know that's Spock by looking at him. That's kind of where we are with Star Trek, is that you don't know it's Star Trek unless it's got Star Trek slapped across the logos. Because it's really Trek in name only at this point. The showrunner of Picard and writer of the recent Spock and number 1 centric short Trek episode Q&A, I reviewed that. I watched that live with you guys. Oh, spoiler, they start singing in the middle of the elevator for no reason. For no reason. This show is a whole lot of let's change a bunch of crap and then let's make a bunch of insulting retcons to explain away our changes to shut up the old fans. See, we can do whatever we want. If not for us, your favorite Star Trek wouldn't exist. You should be thankful that we are here to tell you what Star Trek is and what Starfleet is. And that is not okay with me. In my book, I'm at my last straw with Star Trek, all right? With the fandom, like in general, the fans. A lot of you guys are amazing, wonderful, intelligent, compassionate people. But there's this little We Are Starfleet hashtag going around on Twitter that I have been bullied by. They're bullying me out of the fandom, is what they're doing. And Star Trek fans are now the bullies. Star Trek fans are now the bullies. So keep that in mind. If you guys if you're my age, you remember the 80s where we get bullied for liking Star Trek. Well, now we're bullied because we have problems with canon and continuity and issues like that. And we have problems with getting insulted whenever they retcon something. That's the other thing that they do on this show. The showrunner of Star Trek Picard and the writer of the recent Spock and number 1 centric short Trek episode Q&A could very well be the most talented fan fiction writer on the planet. Fan fiction. Is he talented? I don't know, but this is still fan fiction. Keep in mind, 50 Shades of Grey was Twilight fan fiction. Okay? Though he's won a slew of big-time awards, from the Pulitzer to the Hugo, for his novels and works of nonfiction, Michael Chabon considers his writing on Star Trek to be no different than any other fan fiction writer, right from the horse's mouth, right? This is the problem. We keep telling them, no, this is fan fiction level of writing. It's not Star Trek caliber writing, because Star Trek they're even bringing in the right people-ish on paper. People like Michael Chabon works really well on paper. He seems intelligent. He's won Pulitzers. He's won a Hugo. Fan fiction. Glorified, high-budget fan fiction. And that's why the continuity changes. And that's why they're taking these things. They're like, they're complaining about canon. Well, we'll make sure that, see, if not for us, if it wasn't for Captain Pike making a shot at your grandmother for liking a view screen, see, the holograms are canon because we had Captain Pike take a shot at old people for using view screens. And that's all this is. This is how do we be disrespectful towards older Star Trek fans. He considers his own writing to be fan fiction. Well, this is why we saw that nice shot of his from Vasquez Rocks, because only a fan fiction person would go to Vasquez Rocks. With Star Trek, seriously, that's where Kirk fought the Gorn. They've done it. We've been there a few times in Star Trek. To do it now that it's a meme, pretty much doing it any time past Bill and Ted Bogus Journey. I almost like Bill and Ted Go to Hell. Anytime past Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey is going to seem like fan fiction at this point to show Vasquez rocks at all. Because it's one of those, hey, remember when Kirk fought the Gorn? I remember. It's all member berries. And that is what fan fiction is. It is all about hitting all of the member berries. I mean, this is licensed and approved, and maybe that invalidates the status as fan fiction, Chabon tells Sci-Fi Wire, but I don't think so. I'm just sharing this with all my fellow fans out there who've always wondered about these questions. No, don't fill in the, wonder about these questions shit. You want to make up stories that are going to be engaging with the audience, that is going to take us somewhere newer, that you don't have to fill in and explain away all these canon violations. That is one of the problems with Discovery, is they said it so early. In 10 years before TOS, we already have a record of what the uniforms look like, and the ships, and the technology. And the fact that they come in with their little fan fiction level of writing to come in and change everything, to come in and justify their changes, is just an insult. It is just such hack writing at this point. Going to now, at least they're going into the future, but they're still using fanfiction level of writing, because they still had to fanfiction themselves into this self-insert blank slate horrible Mary Sue character of Michael Burnham. Because everybody wants to be Spock's sister or brother. Everybody wants to be related to Spock. Why not be the next Spock? Why not be the next better than your own? Be your own freaking character. Be the next thing that we're going to be like, oh my god, that character is amazing. I love that character. Like Spock. Like a Spock character. Oh no, because Big Bang Theory. That's why. Because Big Bang Theory references Spock more than anything. And that is why they said it in a time where they could pull Spock out of their ass. Instead of actually realizing what Star Trek fans like and still are passionate about and understand, no. They went to the Big Bang Theory. And the problem with going to the Big Bang Theory is that you have a culture of people who would sooner wish death upon the TOS actors while they go to the conventions just to cosplay every few months. Because that is their whole life. Because they saw it on the Big Bang Theory and they said, hey, I want to cosplay as that. I'm weird and awkward. I need somewhere to fit in. And then they come in and appropriate that culture and bully everybody out of the fandom. They insult the original TOS actors, wishing them death. I've made videos on that. And then when you dare complain about it, oh, no. Because that is who they want in the fandom now. That is who the producers want. They want this Big Bang Theory sort of hot topic cosplay in only sort of Star Trek fan. The actors end up siding with the people who wish them death. Now, that is fine. That is their prerogative to forgive and forget. The problem with that, though, is that sets a bad example, and that further cements the fact that this group has bullied the rest of us out of the fandom over stupid crap like their glorified fan fiction. Because we don't like the way it's written. And because we don't like the way it's written, because it comes off like fan fiction, we get these people coming in, and because we say, hey, the writing's crap, in their little distorted, hot topic, Big Bang Theory level of understanding, they think that means you're a racist. Even though you have nothing against the color of anybody working on the show, identity, orientation, any of that stuff. The writing is fan fiction level, and they're admitting it right here. So Picard is not going to be any good. We're going to revisit this once Picard comes closer too. The question Chabon alludes to are the front and center in the short track. First, why the heck did Spock smile in the cage? In the unaired Star Trek series episode The Cage, the pilot. Because it's an unaired freaking pilot. That's why. Because it's television. It's the 1960s. They didn't realize these shows would be on in reruns and dissected so much. And once they did, then they started paying a little closer attention to canon and detail and things like that. Once they realized the kind of fandom that Star Trek fans are. We pay attention to every little detail. With something like The Cage, nobody cared that Spock smiled in The Cage. We care more that you decided to bring that in in Star Trek again. And not only that, they go back to Talos 4, where Spock picks up a flower, he smiles for a second. Michael Burnham, the self-insert fan fiction in, this character's so bad, they don't even have action figures of her. We have the inaction figure of Michael Burnham. It's about lifelike as the actual character. She comes in and does the same thing, where she goes to the flower and smiles, right? That could have been your retcon right there, that flower has a weird chemical reaction, like weed, where it makes you smile and your eyes kind of go a little closed. Something. Give that flower some sort of in-canon explanation. None of this stuff. None of this elaborate way just to insult us. Right? You have reasons in Star Trek that you can... And if you have any grasp on, basic science past grade school, they don't even have the concept of grade school level science down. They think sonar works in space, for crying out loud. They don't understand things. At least Next Generation was working with some real theoretical physics and theoretical space travel, and everything that's on that ship is on that ship for a reason. This one, we don't even know how big the goddamn ship is. It's as big as a freaking roller coaster on the inside, apparently. On the new version of the Enterprise, which was never that big. Don't get me started on the short trek. This is a bit rambly, but I gotta vent and rant about it. So why did he smile in the cage? How come Spock seemed to borrow his entire personality from number one? Because it was an unaired pilot, they retooled it to where he was now that character, and because that pilot did not make it to air. It was not good enough to make it to air. It was a network pitch. It was something that you sell to the network to say, hey, I have a concept of a TV show, and they'll watch it. 9 times out of 10, they'll say, okay, that's great, let's change it. Let's fix it. What if this character was this? What if we swap these people around? What if we recast this? Okay, because that's television. We don't care about the continuity changes in the cage. That's the unaired pilot. We're not these stupid little, oh my god, they think so little of us that we actually care. In writing Q&A, Chabon says he directly crafted a fictional response to these specific contradictions of old school Trek canon. It wasn't, though. It wasn't. You could have had one line in Discovery when Michael Burnham did the same goddamn stupid thing. You don't need a damn fan fiction level, stupid, inconsistent thing just to break canon even more. Spoiler warning, right? Yeah, homages to the very famous Next Generation episode. Not only that, yeah, they start singing out of the blue for no reason. I'm the model of a modern major general, because they did because, hey, remember when they did it in Star Trek The Next Generation? Yeah, I remember. And if I wanted to see it, I would watch Star Trek The Next fucking Generation. Thank you very much, Michael Chabon. There might not be another character quite like number one in any other fandom that I can think of. Oh, the character that was like, hey, we already had this, and they changed it, and nobody cared since then. It says of the steely USS Enterprise first officer, navigator circa the 2250s, the subject of how to treat her canonicity is a subject that could probably only interest fans. I mean, you have to be more than a slightly casual fan to even know about her up until the second season of Discovery. Well, I think you have to be more than a casual fan to even know about Discovery at this point, because they're doing their best they can to hide it, because Discovery is not anything that anybody actually wants to watch or even put on their streaming services. We have confirmation of that from Anthony Rapp himself in dealing with some of these Star Trek bullies, where they're asking, hey, where's the short trek? And he says, well, don't get mad at CBS for not having them, or CBS All Access. You've got to realize that people don't want them. You've got to understand. I made a video about that. Originally played by Majel Barrett, the future wife of Gene Roddenberry, in the unaired 1964 pilot. See, they keep going and mentioning it's unaired. That was the point. It was unaired. It's not supposed to be treated. You take it with a grain of salt. That's the one we don't complain about, because it's the one that, yeah, it was inconsistent, but we can forgive it for being the first. Any TV series is going to take some time for their characters to get their full character done. Oh, I'm tired of this article. I'm so tired of this article. And the fact that they think that this needs further canonization and further canonical addressing is what's really, really wrong with this. They're caring so much about stupid crap that the fans really, really don't care about to appease their little convention cliques, to appease those people, not the fans that have been with it from, 20 and 30 years ago. No, this little last few years of fans who come in and, fine, that's who this is for. This isn't for me anymore. They've already pretty much proceeded in bullying me out of actually paying any money for any Star Trek merch in the future, right? Or conventions or any the app. I don't play that anymore either. I don't play Star Trek Timelines anymore. That ruined that one for me, the whole convention. But this is all I really need to know about it, is that they don't care. They just want to come in and justify their little fan fiction like it's a good thing. And that's all this article is saying, is that, we're fan fiction, but no, it's a good thing. Tell me what you guys think in the comment section below. I am Mecha Random 42, and I will see you guys on the next video, live stream, or wherever. Bye! Thanks for watching. If you liked it, make sure to hit that like button. And if you want to see more, don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next video. Bye!